got into hair for a lot of reasons, and people ask me all the time. Every time someone sits down in my chair, after I get through the whole, I went to London, yes, I'm a master stylist, all that other stuff. Every time they always ask me two questions. They're like, what made you get into hair, and why did you come back here? Well, what made me get into hair is so multifaceted. I mean, part of it was definitely a practical joke for my buddies. You know, people at work calling me names and telling me that I was too artsy, that I needed to be a hairdresser, and so yeah.
So you did it. You're like, you're right. I should be.
And that was fun. That was funny. It was awesome. After about the first semester, it stopped being a joke, though. Because my mother had her 7th kid, I believe, right around the time that I was.
Wow.
7th kid, right around the time I was in high school, in hair school, and I had to watch my mom's hair fall out. Because when you're pregnant with 7 children, back to back to back to back to back, you don't necessarily recover quickly.
Right.
And so watching that gave me a passion for working with people's hair.
So that we did just your hair and
I took it as far as I could. And when I was in hair school, I actually built my mother. I still have no clue how to build a wig, but I had to build my mother basically a wig that would attach to what little hair she had left out of hair extensions, just the clip-ons you get from Sally's.
Yeah.
And when my hair teacher saw that, he kind of brought me aside and he said, look, you have talent, and you should take this as far as you can possibly go with it. And again, because I like that type of irony, I did.
It's good.
You know, lots of really, really cool stuff happened after that. And I'm happy to say that, you know, my mom has 8 children, and her hair is almost back to perfect.
Good. Is she done?
I hope to God so. But that's not really my decision, that's their decision.
Of course. Of course. It's a lot of haircuts you're going to have to do your whole life.
Well, that was the deal. They send me to school, I cut their hair for free for the rest of my life.
Yep, that's how it goes.
Kind of the sad story behind why I got into hair. Yeah.
But it has a happy ending. The hair's back and you're here.
Yes, I am here, and I'm here for a very, very long time.
And you ended up at Chrysalis.
I ended up at Chrysalis. Again, really cool story. I love that story. I was in hair school. It was my last semester. And Johnny, my teacher, was taking us to kind of like a see the salon type day. Like we were going out to look at prospective salons and figure out which one was for us. You know, do we want to be in a more down-to-earth salon? Do we want to be in a higher-end salon? What do we want to do? And they brought us here. I think this was our last one. And we came in, and I met Randy. And I remember he kind of pulled me aside and he had this conversation with me, and he said, you know, when you get out of hair school, he said, bring me your resume and I'll hire you. And I was like, cool, yes sir, you know, and I got home and I was like, all right, but I don't have a resume.
Oh, it's going to be on it at school.
I mean, and what am I going to put on this resume? I went to school at Midland College.
Right.
And so I talked to my dad. I was like, you know, I could work at one of the best salons in Midland, but I have to have a resume first. And he said, well, okay. He said, where's the best school in the world? And I laughed. I was like, I can't go to the best school in the world. You have to be the best. And he said, where is it? I said, it's in London. He said, how long is it? I said, well, it's 26 weeks. I said, and I have to have my license. He said, well, get your license and then book it. And so I called the woman up there at at the school in London, and I had to wake up at like 5 in the morning because it was noon there.
Right.
And I ended up finally getting in touch with them, and I was like, okay, what does it take to get into this course? And they were like, well, they said getting in is the easy part, graduating is the hard part. And I said, okay, cool. And so I booked it, and I went to London. Well, anyway, long story short, very long story short. Get back home. Worked in a little town for a little while just to kind of get my sea legs back. And then I came back to Randy and I brought him my resume, and he said, I don't know if you remember me, but you told me to get a resume, and I did. And he said, oh no, I remember you. He's like, I wondered where you were. I said, well, I went to London and I did this and I did that and blah, 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 blah. And he looked at my resume, one page in, and he said, you're hired. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, you're hired. He said, I'd have hired you the day you got out of school. I was like, you could have told me that before.
Right. But now you got those great experiences. So that's awesome.
My first day at work, I will never forget. I've never felt a team that has been so absolutely supportive of their people. I've never, ever, ever felt that before. My first client in the salon here, it was January, I think the 2nd or something. It was a weird day. But my first client was a bob on difficult hair. And I knew I could handle it, and I knew I could do it, but apparently no one else did. And I didn't know this, but everyone was watching me. And I got back there, and I was working back in the back at the time. And I did the haircut, and then she walked out of the building. As she walked out of the building, I can never forget this, it's way too cool. People started applauding. They were literally clapping, and I was like, this is my family now. I'm home.
Your Chrysalis family.